Hello, everyone. Welcome to Refresh F5 Ministries. I'm Patty Lee, and today I want to talk to you about the importance of waiting on God's timing. I don't know about you, but there's a lot of times that I want something so bad, and I just really want to try to find a way to make it happen. But when I really draw closer to God and I ask God for His guidance, He begins to show me that maybe at that time, that's not necessarily the right time for that to happen, or possibly it's not meant to happen at all. Most of the time, I don't really know which it is, but I'm going to just tell you a little story that happened not too long ago. So, back in January, I had what I thought was the most precious cat in the world. I never was a cat person before. It's not that I didn't like cats, I just was always a dog person. But a cat showed up on my sister's doorstep a year ago, and she felt bad that the cat was having to stay outside. It wouldn't leave their house. It wanted to take up being at their home, but she was highly allergic to cats, so she couldn't let the cat inside. And she just really took to this cat, and we ended up naming him and fell in love with him, and she then begged me to take him, and reluctantly, just because I fell in love with him and I didn't want to see him continue to stay outside, that I agreed to take him and see if I could learn how to take care of a cat. So after reaching out to all of my cat friends, I slowly learned how to take care of a cat and fell in love with him. But back in January, I woke up one Saturday morning and his back legs were paralyzed. So I quickly rushed him to the vet, and there I was told that it really wasn't to his benefit to let him stay living. So I had to make the decision to put him down. And that was so, so sad because I had just grown to love this cat so much. So as I came home that day and mourned and felt very sad that I didn't have my little friend with me anymore, I had decided that I was never going to have another one again. I had a dog that I dearly loved and had for a couple of years. She died unexpectedly as well 8 years ago, and then I had this happen to my cats. I was like, no, I'm just not going to have any more animals. So I began cleaning up all of his belongings, and I was getting ready to sell everything so that I would no longer have any of his things around. But as I began getting those things ready to sell, my sister said, hold on, don't do that yet. You just never know if you might decide that you want another one. And I was like, oh, no, no, I've decided I don't. But I just held on to that because I thought, well, what difference is it going to make to hold on to his things for a little bit longer and just see what God has to say about it? So I began praying and I began longing to have another cat. And so many times I wanted to take a drive to the Humane Society and take a look at the cats and see if there was any cat that I felt attached to. But every time I got ready to do it, God said, no, not yet. And I kept praying and praying, and I said, Lord, when are you going to give me a cat? Like, I really, really want a cat. And a few months later, I found out that a girl in my church was getting ready to go on missions overseas. And she had to rehome her little 1.5 year old cat. So I immediately sent a message and said, I'm interested. And I didn't hesitate. I was just like, I know that this is a cat for me. so we got in touch with each other, made arrangements to meet up with each other, and she said that I was exactly what she had been praying for because she wanted somebody that was a Christian and would love her cat as much as she does because she was having a really hard time at the thought of parting with her. So we made arrangements for me to go to her apartment and actually meet her cat and make sure that it was a good fit. And after sitting in her apartment for about 30 to 45 minutes, we agreed that we both wanted me to have the cat. So about 10 days later, she ended up bringing the cat to my house to let me rehome her. And she has been the most precious cat. Of course, she'll never take the place of my other cat, and that's fine. But she is her own personality, and it's taken her a while to get used to being rehomed, but she's done very, very well, and I've grown attached to her. So I say all that to say, while I was praying for another cat, I said, Lord, in the past, every animal I've ever gotten, it was always a rehoming situation. And I said, I would love to either find a cat that's like Tux was, where, they're just on the street and need a home, or that somebody can't take care of their cat anymore and I could help them out by taking the cat. And this was such a perfect situation because not only did the owner and I go to the same church, but I have such a heart for missions because I love mission work. I love going on mission trips. I love everything about what missions stand for. And to know that every time I look at this precious cat, that I am helping this new friend of mine to be able to go and do the assignment that God has given her. And what's even greater of a blessing is that anytime she's at home, she'll be able to come over and visit her sweet cat. So I just say all that to say, don't rush into doing things in your own timing, in your own way. Let God bless you. Because at the right time, like if I had gone out and got a cat sooner, yes, I would be rehoming a cat if I went to the Humane Society. But to rehome an animal because God called me to rehome her because of the fact that her mother was going away on in missions, that's even a greater blessing. So, and two, I got to know a lot about the cat before I even rehomed her, which was great. So, just whenever you want something really bad, just always take it to the Lord. Make sure that it's within the Lord's will for you to have it because you never know what's ahead for what He may have for you to do or what somebody else might need for you to participate in. That just waiting a little bit longer for His perfect timing is going to make all the difference in the world. So I thank you for joining me. I thank you for coming back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Patty Lee, the founder of Refresh F5 Ministries. And if you like these messages, I ask that you share them with your family and friends. But also linked below, I'm going to have my personal information. So if you want to help sow into this ministry, I would love for you to do that. Any amount is greatly appreciated because this is now my full-time job. since I lost my job a year ago and God's made it very apparent that this needs to be my full-time job. This is what He has called me to do. And this is what I've known for 14 years that I've needed to do. So I'm finally stepping out on faith and I'm doing the things that He has called me to do. Also, I've started another channel on YouTube called Fill My Cup Podcast. And that podcast will be coming out here in just a matter of days. So if you would like to also sow into that ministry, I will also have that information linked below. And then eventually, waiting on God's timing, I will be having a Fill My Cup Cafe in the local Jacksonville area. So if you are in the area and once that is up and running, you would like to come by and partake in being a part of the Fill My Cup Cafe, that will be amazing. But I also am doing a crowdfunding for getting that cafe up and running. So again, I will have all that information linked below as well. But I hope that you will come back and join me again for another special message that I'll be having for you soon. Thanks and have a great day. Bye now.